Hello and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. I wanted to focus these days and these series on pet businesses within our pet industry. So while at Pro Pet Hero we provide you with the health and safety and well-being of your pets, I also want to let you know who the people are out there taking care of your pets. And today I'm bringing you who the people that exist out there in our amazing pet space that are helping the people take the best care of your pets. So I'm a pet business owner and I've been a dog walker and pet sitter for almost 15 years now. And I love it, but I wasn't always a business person. And I had no idea back in the day when I started that pet business coaches existed. And can I tell you, wow, what a resource. What an amazing resource I wish I had. And even though I'm, not so much in my business anymore and working with Pro Pet Hero and marketing, I've still learned a ton. And I want to bring you the person that I've learned a bunch from and also kind of discuss what a pet business coach is and also describe, I'm out there marketing and connecting with a bunch of people and there's a lot of different levels that you can get coaching. And so I just want to bring that to the forefront. So I'm really excited today. We've got beautiful Bella Vasta on with us. She is the owner and one-woman dynamic show of Jump Consulting, which is awesome because her saying is "Who's got your chute?" which just that right there encapsulates so much. Yeah, Bella does. So anyways, she's been an entrepreneur since a child. She was the one running around the neighborhood trying to figure out how to make up money. She started her pet sitting business. I thought I was young. I was 23. She started it in college and was booming and had employees by the time I was just starting mine. So that's awesome. She excelled it. She got nationally awarded, locally awarded, and then she sold it. She had a passion to be what's most important to her, which is in July 2014, she became a mom of a micro preemie. That's like beyond preemie, and we all know the issues that people have with preemie. So you can imagine what she's gone through. Her daughter is surviving and thriving, and so she's a mom and a wife first, but she's your business coach next, and she is there to inspire and motivate everybody. So I want to bring her on today. Say hello, Bella.
Hi, thank you so much, Kara. I appreciate that. That was a great intro.
Thank you for coming on. And so I just want to start off. I want to have Bella kind of let us know. She has some cards to keep us on track because Bella and I, when we talk, man, we can go off the rails. I just want her to let us know what makes a coach and what should you look for in a coach.
Okay, so Kara, I made like four different things. I got out my box of markers, and this goes along with something that I want our listeners to know. When you're working with a coach, and the first topic we're going to talk about is what makes a good coach. So the thing is that you're going to see and have so many options. You're going to have options that are in the industry, that are out of the industry, that are just people, coaches, mentors. They come in so many different forms. Mm-hmm. So I think that for the purpose of this conversation, Kara, I'm going to stick to the pet industry coaches because we could get really, like you said, off the rails if we go any further. So what makes a good one is really relative. It really comes from first looking into what are you looking for, because they come in so many different ways. So obviously you want someone that's going to listen to you. You want someone that has fallen down quite a few times and picked themselves up, because nothing comes easy. And if anyone tries to pretend that it did come easy, or that they're like literally in the first 5 years of their own pet sitting company, I don't know, in my own opinion, like, I don't think you have enough skin in the game. I don't think you've been around the block many times. So, what makes a good coach is totally relative to the person seeking. But I would encourage you to think about, what are you looking for? And then you can best answer that. I could totally answer it what I think for me, but that might not be what's for you. And to that point, that is something that a coach needs to really understand with the person they're working with, is to find out what is important to the person on the other side of that phone, on the other side of that screen, or the other side of that computer.
I think that's really important. So basically what you're telling people is they need to be introspective of their own business. What are their strengths and weaknesses? When we go into a game, a coach, we always think of basketball or football, or I had a tennis coach that was extremely inspirational to me through my childhood. I still carry many of his acronyms with me in my own business. And what I found important was, he found where I don't want to call them weaknesses, but he found where I wasn't strong and found ways for me to work around those.
Yes.
And so I find that, I wish you had been there when I had started my business, but I love that you say that, somebody that's got skin in the game, and it's somebody that's fallen down and scraped their knees. And I've done that, and I advise people when I can, but I was just speaking with somebody last night that was new into the business, and I was like, oh, you need to talk to Bella. You need to talk to Bella. Bella has this, and it also takes a certain person, like you were saying,
Yeah.
and I realized quickly, while I love, giving advice and helping people here and there, my strengths are in, networking and marketing. I'm not a coach. I wasn't
Yeah.
built to be a coach. If you catch me
Yeah.
on the wrong day, I don't have patience.
And patience is part of it, but Kara, the part that I really love the most is being someone's cheerleader.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like cheerleader, like, yay, great job. It's like, I'll kick you in the butt. I'll throw you in the game. I'll tell you which direction you need to run according to how many goals you wanted to score, according to your analogy there, right? And then I'll be yelling from the sidelines, come on, let's go. And just because we don't have a session booked, or just because you downloaded something, it doesn't mean that I'm not available online.
Oh,
So,
that's very true.
our next topic that we were going to talk about was structure.
Yes.
And I think, if I may just kind of continue on with that, I think something that, it was actually, I'm going to tell you a story. Leanne, who's actually going to be on my podcast here soon, Bella in Your Business, go look it up. It's like
I'm going to put all of this in the show notes. Yeah, I binge on them.
Leanne just was on, and Leanne and I started working together in January. And something that I kind of had in the back of my head, but have never really put out there, Kara, is that so many people learn different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And from the very first downloadable product ever put out there, I wrote it out, but I also said, I'm going to put this on audio too, because I was a busy pet sitter and I couldn't sit there and stay awake or my attention to read 10 to 15, 20, 30, sometimes 50 pages are my downloads. And sometimes it was just better to sit there and listen to it as I'm walking dogs, as I'm doing laundry, as I'm preparing food, as I'm doing whatever I want to pretend I'm not doing and get my mind out of it, right?
Yeah.
And so my point is that the structure of a coach that you choose, I want you to realize that you do have options. You should have options, or at least I try to provide as many options as possible. So, you could have private Facebook groups, and you need to take a look and decide if that kind of Facebook group, the community, the tone, the leadership, the depth of the types of questions, the types of people that are in the groups and what stages they are in their business, is it a right fit for you? You can have podcasts, which I have a podcast. You could have blogs. How often is new content coming out from these coaches? This content's important because while I have a lot of things that I charge for, I probably 60 or 70% of my content is like free. Actually, it's probably more than that, probably like 75. I put so much free stuff out there.
Yeah, your blog, your podcast, well, your blogs too, but your podcasts are amazing.
Thank you.
Even if you're not in the industry, a lot of them are catered to it, but they're just, I'm blown away at who you're bringing on, the information they're providing and giving us. No, I love
I just
what
had
you're doing.
Joey Coleman on, and you know what? Here's a secret. It's selfishly, it's exciting for me because I would never have had a chance to have a half-hour long conversation with an international keynote speaker who used to work for the Secret Service, who was a defense lawyer, and who has worked for his biography is like incomprehensible.
Extensive,
and I get to interview these people and bring them to pet sitters. It is so fulfilling for me, which is part of the reason why I do all this. So getting back to structure, though, you also can have these one-on-one conversations with people. You could have Skype calls with people. You could have group mastermind sessions. There's lots of different methods. And I think that's important just in general when speaking about coaching, because everyone learns differently. And getting back to my story about Leanne would ask me some questions in between our sessions. And rather than sit there and type her a book, because I knew she was auditory, I would get on my phone and I would record my answer in 3 or 4 minutes.
I love when you do that.
Send it to her. And she just loved that. And I did too, because quite honestly, 3 or 4 minutes for me just to speak it rather than sit there and type it and go back and try to, correct all my errors was efficient for me too. So I have this sincere need to see people succeed. And when you're looking for a business coach, you want to see what kind of structure they deliver the content to you and make sure that's the way that you need to receive the content. All right.
Yeah, I mean, that's fascinating. I mean, I know that you're a busy person and you'll give me a lot of time, which, which I'm very grateful for.
But
But,
I love
but you'll be
it.
driving and you're so efficient that you have the ideas and you'll just send a voice memo. I mean, that's genius. It's using technology we all have, but that right there just shows how accommodating you are, how important it is for you to get the message across because you had good information that you wanted to get out right then and there, and that you
Yeah.
sent it efficiently and safely. So
Thank you.
that was one of the things that when you first did that, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I met you. And I met you, not because I'm not, while I produce a lot of blogs, I'm not a huge blog reader. I try, but my brain skips around. But because I met you in a Facebook group and then I started kind of just binging on your podcast. Like you have the sales lion on, you tell us to, he tells us to answer these questions. That's so applicable to our businesses. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I really appreciate that structure. While you have format and structure all over the place, you can provide it in any way that person learns their best, and that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
You know what was a fun one is the vlogs, Kara. Like letting
Yeah.
people, I did a series of vlogs in January, February, and I had just started my own personal lifestyle change. So, and they were a little long, but for the right person looking to get a good inside look to who I am, it was a really cool, transparent way for me to show you when I was literally laying on the floor vlogging because I was like, got my butt kicked at a workout to momming and dancing around with my baby in the kitchen. And I think it's really important that you really you understand who you follow. This online and hiding behind a keyboard, here's more visuals, it's really easy for people to be deceived. It's really easy
Yeah.
for people to think that all that glistens is gold. And unfortunately, it's not. And unfortunately, there are some one trick pony shows out there that look like, they have the whole circus together, but they really only have one act. And depending on what you're looking for, that could be a good thing if you're just looking for that one act. That could be absolutely
Yeah.
awesome. But if you're looking for something that can really get into you, you want to know that person. I always say you want to follow someone who you want to be like.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't mean that to toot my own horn because a lot of people don't want to be like me, and that's okay. That's so okay. But I really put it out there to attract the people that do want to put family first, that do want to work efficiently and and smarter, not harder. It's so
Yeah.
cliche, but it's so true, and you can do it. And
Yeah.
and I proved I could do it by when I had my micro preemie baby born at 12
You
ounces.
still had your business. That's
I
crazy.
for 10 hours a day for 6 months, I was in ICU, NICU, neonate ICU, and my business ran. I had the systems and processes, so I've proven that what I tell you to do works.
Yeah.
Okay, I have proof in the pudding, and I have proof in concept because it was bought for 6 figures.
Yeah.
Someone bought what my husband calls thin air because I had a website and some staff and some manuals, and he's like, you can't see it, you can't touch it. You're right, like you can't. And I feel very proud, and I hope I don't come off as showy that way, but I'm just trying to say, like, I have proof of concept.
Well, from you have proof of concept from beginning to end. I mean, you created this while in college. You worked all the way through it. You've done all the positions from being in it to being, working on it.
Yeah.
Worked in it, worked on it, and then you've gone from transition to selling. So, I think that covers a lot of areas where we are in our businesses. I met a woman last night that she had a great business, but she knows her website. She needs help in her business, and so times are slow, and so she needs marketing help. And I was like, Bella. And then there's people that they have great marketing, but they're having some management of employee issues. So an employee manual
Mm-hmm.
is really great for that. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
I found kind of alluring to you. I've been, networking, connecting with a lot of other pet sitting business coaches because there are, there's a bit out there, and
Yeah.
I just keep finding myself drawn to you, and I keep telling people, I said, at least just check out her free content. I mean,
Yeah.
you take the Jay Baer model of being useful to the tens. I mean, you really are extremely useful to
I'm
not
very
just your
inspired.
clients. Yeah, it's and inspiring. Yeah, I mean, you've inspired me.
Well, Jay's been very inspiring to me. For
But
those
you
of you
share that
listening,
with
Jay,
us. That's what's great. You share that
yeah.
with, you meet these great people and you bring them to us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Um,
I just asked. my
that's
my next set is I want to get Ray Lewis on my podcast. He
you.
is like the most motivational, inspirational former NFL player of like Super Bowls and all these things, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask.
Well, you'll do it. Joey Coleman was like, I sat next to you and was blown away by you. Here's a man that has done international keynote speakers, and he was blown away
Yeah.
by you. You know that. I mean that. But speaking of you, if someone makes the brilliant decision, yes, to get with you, what do they expect? What, how do they know it's working? How do they know I made the
Yeah.
best decision to go with Bella?
Yeah. Well, I don't even want to make this about me, Kara, because I acknowledge that some people, and by the way, these are because people learn different ways. And I know that people aren't going to necessarily have the time to sit here and listen word for word. So hopefully they're seeing this flash as they're scrolling through and they're like, oh, wait, what's that? Okay, good. Did you stop here? Because here we are. I don't even want to make this so much about me, but I want to really keep it on a global level. Um, you're going to know if it's working. First of all, you can't just do a one shot, like a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You can't have one session or one thing and have no follow up. You need accountability. You need homework. You need follow up. You need time to digest and process the things that you've learned and implement them and
Yeah.
come back. So that's why, for any new people I work with, I have a 4 session minimum and it doesn't come cheap. But it's because I don't want to just take people's money and run. Like, what's the point? And I really think that you should be able to see you should be able to see results. So if you wanted to get better at marketing, you should have a better marketing plan. If you wanted to get better at your phone sales script, you should start landing more people on the phone. And I know this because I get all of these like exciting emails like, oh my God, it worked. I'm like, I know. And it's because they trusted the process, which actually kind of leads me into the whole, how do you know if you're ready? You need to be able to be vulnerable, Kara. You need to be
Yeah.
able to let down your walls. You need to realize that you don't know it all. That's why you're here. And even though it's uncomfortable, any change is going to be uncomfortable. Okay. You have to trust the process. And this goes for anything in life. It's not even coaching. It's like, if you want to make some sort of a change in life, you have to trust the process and you have to trust who you hired. And that goes back to, if you're going to hire a coach, you need to know who they are to the core. You need to know who you're following. If you know that person, you will trust them. If you don't know that person and you're a little like, then you shouldn't be doing it because you're not going to get results. You're going to sabotage it.
Yeah.
So really the first step is really figuring out exactly what you're looking for and who you're following. And when you can get to know them and like them, then you can trust them because trust is earned. It's not given, right?
Right. Very true.
You can't just say, oh, okay, here, I'm going to sign up for this. Here's $1,000. Let's do 4 sessions. Like, that doesn't happen. You're going to want to listen to my podcast. You're going to want to see the
Your
things that I
vlogs.
believe. Yeah, you're going
Yeah.
to want to understand who I am. And I encourage you to do that with whoever you choose. Whoever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a message just to hit home because, as a marketer, I don't just seek out businesses and say, hey, let's connect. I do a lot of research on them. I do a lot of
Yeah.
research. And I had heard of Bella's House and Pet Sitting for years. And, I always knew that you stood out, but you were part of NAPS and I was part of PSI. And
Ooh.
yeah, I brought them up. Those are pet sitting associations. But I always and then I got into this role of working with Pro Pet Hero and really trying to align us with great companies. And I met you, I followed you, I got to know you this before your vlogs, but I digested all your material and I was like,
Yeah.
this is a good alignment. And then you even took it a step further. You took it and ran. I mean, you created this entire group, and you have your podcast and we're on your podcast, and it's another resource. You don't just recommend your materials. You recommend when you're not the go-to
Yeah.
person. You're not the go-to person for CPR and first aid. You're not a veterinarian and all that.
Yeah.
You go out on a limb and you do the same research and you bring valuable resources to your clients. And I just, that's another way that you kind of go above and beyond, another niche that you fill. You're not just saying, this is how I did it, you do it my way. You find how people learn, you teach them in their, each way is better way. And then you find the resources that are best for them. And I just wanted to compliment you on that and say, well
Well,
done. I'm happy to have you in this pet space. I love sharing the pet space with you. You're inspirational to us and me, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And I really wanted to bring this material and this knowledge of a pet coach to people. And even if you think your business is running perfectly, step back, look at Bella's material or look at others and just see where can I be the best. And that's
yeah.
what I think is great.
I
We're
wanna
pet owners, we don't know how to run businesses.
I love what you said about the resources because I think that's another really good point that when you work with a coach, and again, I'm going to take this globally, you don't want to be given more problems to do. So if someone's advising you on how to be better, you really want to be able to have them either help you or give you some good resources. You don't want to just say, okay, yeah, you need this, and now you got to go figure it out
Yeah.
because all that's doing is giving you more problems.
It's a
Okay.
teach a man to fish. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really truly believe in that, and that's why I'm always looking for great resources. And leading into one of my most popular things is my employee handbook and
Yeah.
training manual. They're 50 pages each. They're the largest in the industry. They're typeset, which, Kara, that means it looks pretty, okay? Because it needs to look pretty and professional, like it was
Yeah.
professionally published. And it's written by a technical writer. The training manual actually has pictures in it, like where to hook on a leash, how to scoop different types of litter boxes, things like that. And in doing that, this is my example to it. I not only produced these manuals for the industry and saw the one that was out there and tried to really one up it, but I also provided a resource
Hmm.
because once I give you these instructions of here's how you find and replace and here's how where I put like enter your company name, well, your margins might be off or your table of contents or those
Oh,
little lines that you do that just like
yes.
fall out of place and you're like, ah. Well, guess what? I gave everyone that gets those documents my contact in the UK for $25 flat rate. He will take everything that you did and
Fix
make it
it.
look all pretty. So that's like a perfect example of how I don't just produce the content, but I also anticipate, you know what, you're probably going to have a problem because I had that problem. Here's the solution for it. I don't want you to fret over that and spend days trying to figure out Microsoft Word. You're like,
You've done that 100 times with me. Yeah. I mean, just
yeah.
just with my video equipment. You're like, oh, I forgot to tell you about that setting afterwards. But, so it's just, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you and, you appreciate it. I'm going to put all of your contact information in our show notes. I'm going to put in there, you have a code you generously give 10% off for our course. And I just think that's fantastic. Again, being that resource, that global resource. So,
Yeah.
people, check out Jump Consulting. It's jumpconsulting.net. Bella's awesome. She's
Thanks,
beyond a
Kara.
coach. She's an inspiration. She doesn't just,
You are so
challenge
sweet.
you. But yeah, no, I'm just, I'm happy to connect with great people in the industry. And I met, I just
Yeah,
came off of going to Blog Pause and I met some wonderful people I'll be bringing on. But I really wanted to start with, somebody that's there to empower those taking care of the pets. And that, you're kind of like this behind the scenes person. The clients don't get to see you, they get to see
yeah.
your end result and what you've accomplished for the business. And that, I think that's awesome. But you're kind of in the shadows, and I think you need to be brought to the forefront.
Thank you, Kara. And I love these What's Up Wednesdays. I cannot wait to see who you bring on because
Yeah.
I think you're a impeccable national or sometimes even international networker. And I love seeing I'm like, Kara, who are you connecting with now? Like,
I know you and I
what
are
new
always like
friends have you
checking the
made?
network
Like,
book.
hmm. It's really fun and very fruitful for me as well being in your circle. I appreciate our friendship and I also do feel like you're a little bit my soul sister because
Yeah.
we're both from Boston and we can talk really fast
Yeah.
privately and do all of that. But thank you so much. And for anyone listening, I really hope you understand that if you're feeling down and out in your business, there is hope and there's many different resources. And even if I'm not the one for you, feel free to reach out to me by any way that Kara's going to put here. Because if I'm not the one, I'd love to show you different ways that could help you and who's in my Rolodex.
Your
Okay.
wealth of resources. Yeah. All right, Belle. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
My pleasure.
All
Thanks,
right.
Kara.
Take care.